The strange and sad ending of Hee Haw host Roy Clark. The affable Roy Clark, longtime co-host of Hee Haw, on syndicated television, is recognized as a virtuoso of country-style banjo and guitar. Clark has been performing since his teens, and his serious musicianship is sometimes overshadowed by his hayseed comedy routines, especially on television. However, that the corny Hee Haw was the vehicle that propelled Clark from the penumbral half-light of minor celebrity to the blinding glare of full public favor and therefore gave the star a national following for his music. Named Country Music Association Entertainer of the Year in 1973, Clark has extended his popularity beyond America's borders to include Europe and the Soviet Union, where he has toured to enthusiastic ovations. The extent of his appeal, obviously, is wider than the southern states where country music dominates. This is because Clark has been a groundbreaker in adapting country-picking styles to classical and popular melodies. His repertory includes the Spanish dance Malagueña, Laura's Theme, and Yesterday When I Was Young. Clark was born into a musical family. His father and uncles were amateur performers who played guitar, banjo, and fiddle at small socials in the Washington, D.C., area. While a child, Clark toyed with a cigar box ukulele his father made for him. By his teens he had graduated to the banjo and guitar, both of which he mastered without learning how to read music. Soon he was playing with his family and contemplating a show business career. Clark was also an excellent athlete as a youngster. He was invited to spring training by the St. Louis Browns but had no money for the train fare to Florida. He also boxed professionally as a light heavyweight, winning 15 bouts before losing one and deciding to retire. At the age of 14, Clark won the prestigious banjo competition at the National Country Music Championships in Warrenton, Virginia. He won again in 1948 and earned television contracts in Washington, D.C., and occasional appearances at Nashville's Grand Ole Opry. By 1950 he had his own band and had added fiddle, piano, trumpet, trombone, and drums to his list of instruments played. He also worked up a comedy act that he performed during the band's breaks, and he discovered that he enjoyed making people laugh. Slowly Clark began to make his way in the competitive country music industry. In the mid-1950s he played lead guitar first for Jimmy Dean's Texas Wildcats, then for the Marvin Rainwater Ensemble. A 1956 guest appearance on The Arthur Godfrey Show led to even wider exposure. By 1960 he was touring the nation and playing Las Vegas as backup to Wanda Jackson and Hank Thompson. In 1962 Clark got the chance to be a guest host of The Tonight Show, and he played the rural wisecracker so successfully that other television offers poured in. He appeared several times as Cousin Roy and Big Mama Halsey on the Beverly Hillbillies and was a guest star on numerous variety shows. His early albums, Lightning Fingers of Roy Clark, Superpicker, and Yesterday When I Was Young did well on the country charts. The latter also made the pop charts. In 1969 Clark was working with the Jonathan Winters Show when he was asked to co-host a country comedy, variety series on CBS. He agreed, and Hee Haw, starring Clark and Buck Owens, premiered in May of 1969. Fast-paced but uncompromisingly hokey, Hee Haw was an instant hit, not only among rural viewers, but with mainstream audiences as well. Suggested that the humor of country music was more traditional than its music but added that the performers in the ensemble cast won a national exposure through the show that most earlier country comedians had only dreamed of. Hee Haw was more than just a silly comedy program, however. Each episode featured an old-fashioned gospel quartet number, with Clark providing vocals and guitar accompaniment, and both hosts were given a solo song in almost every show. Clark used his solo time primarily to perform his guitar and banjo instrumentals, some of which bore little resemblance to the stereotypical hillbilly tenor of Hee Haw. While one week he might pick the ever-popular Orange Blossom Special or Jesse James, the next week he would offer a jazz tune like Street Louis Blues or Georgia on My Mind. Clark's performance styles likewise were quite varied, From traditional string band methods to complex classical fingering to innovative uses of a guitar pick. CBS cancelled Hee Haw in 1971 because the network wanted to urbanize its image, but the show continued in syndication. It is still on the air throughout rural America, the longest continuously running television program in history. Surprisingly, Hee Haw consumes only 3 to 5 weeks of Clark's time each year. The rest of the time he travels, giving live performances and appearing on television talk shows, variety specials, and charity telethons. He was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for recording at 6922 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California on February 12, 1975. On August 22, 1987, he became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. He played an annual benefit concert at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia, the proceeds of which went to fund scholarships for aspiring musicians. On April 12, 2011, he was honored by the Oklahoma House of Representatives. He passed away from complications from pneumonia at his home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was 85 years old. He is survived by Barbara, his wife of 61 years, 3 sons, 2 daughters, and 4 grandchildren. Rest in peace, Roy Clark. Goodbye, legend.